Yeah, I finished high school about 2011 and actually started getting into jujitsu originally, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, grappling, submission wrestling, that kind of thing. And next to the gym where I was doing jiu-jitsu, or actually adjacent to the gym, was a Muay Thai space where they were doing Muay Thai. And I always used to kind of watch the Thai boxers train, and I, kind of found it kind of fascinating. And one day, one of the Thai boxing guys brought me over, and they were watching actually Glory Kickboxing. It was when Glory Kickboxing kind of started picking up a little bit, and I started watching like the stand up on, on the TV and stuff like that, and I was just blown away by the combinations, the chess match on the feet. It really kind of drew me in and pulled me in, and I just became obsessed with it. And next day, I quit jujitsu and started doing Muay Thai, and I've been doing that for about 8, 9 years now, almost 10. So it's been awesome.
I'm not sure if Keenan can hear us. He's having some issues with his computer there. Keenan, can you hear us?
I think that's a negative.
Okay, we'll give him a little bit of time to get situated with his mic there. Matt, why don't you shoot off a question to Ian?
Yeah, Ian, you know what, man? I looked at your Max Muay Thai fight. Super impressed. You were so composed, and that he was a Thai fighter. Yeah, he's
Yep.
from Thailand. That
Yep.
Man, you looked amazing with that fight. I was very, very impressed. I'm actually excited to watch you on Lion Fight. I'm excited. Lion Fights is on UFC Fight Pass, and I'm excited for your career. You really, really dominated that fight on Max Muay Thai. And I mean, fighting in Thailand and controlling the fight the way you did. Just tell us about that fight, about, being on that stage. It's a little bit different than fighting here in North America. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was crazy. So yeah, they have rehearsals and everything. You got to go to the venue the day before, obviously for weigh-ins and stuff, but you have to do a rehearsal. You go in the back, they kind of bring you down the stage. You kind of have to go through the whole agenda and stuff. And it's crazy when they open those doors in the back and you kind of walk out and they got the lights and the action and the smoke and all that. And it's a big production. So that was actually the first time being on that Max Muay Thai stage. And it was an awesome experience, but yeah, it was crazy getting used to the kind of the stuff, but it was electrifying. It was really fun.
It was electrifying. I know the Thai music. Usually, the odd time they'll have the live band, right? Yeah, and it's different feeling than the recording. Here in North America, I always play with the recording. Man, would you say that's like the biggest stage you've fought on so far?
Max, yeah, I would say I fought in Cambodia too, that same trip on CTV, Southeast Asian television. And that was pretty big. Like in Cambodia, it was actually funny. After that fight, I was walking down the street and some guys had mentioned they just saw me fighting on TV. So it was pretty big. So, but the Max Muay Thai was definitely pretty well known. I know after that fight, going to the back, getting a lot of messages from people from all over who had streamed it on their app on their phone and stuff. So I knew it had a big a following to it and stuff. So, and I'd followed Max for many years prior to actually fighting on Max. So
it's exciting. Definitely a big stage.
Mm-hmm.
Steph, have we figured out with Keenan there? Or?
Keenan, is your speaker or your mic working? Nope. I think we lost him. We lost him. That's okay. There's lots of talk about with Ian for sure, especially after Lion Fight 64. That was quite the card. Ian, what was your favorite bout of the night?
Well, I mean, fight of the night for me was Bazooka Joe Stripling was awesome. I mean, I was feeling the elbows.
Me and Matt are so excited to talk about this.
I was flailing all over the couch. Just, you could feel the elbows. You know, the thing about Muay Thai is, you know, even when you're watching it or when you're there, especially, just being in the presence of it, you can just feel the energy. Even just, it's a buzz. But my buddy Michael Triana fought that night too, and he was actually my roommate when I was on the USA team when I competed at the IFMAs about 6 years ago in Bangkok. So I was really excited to see him back in action too. So those two guys, and And, of course, the tornado kick for the main event finish was awesome too. I mean, it was a great card.
Don't tell me about the last fight. I'm just, I was working all day and I was trying to cram in. I wanted to see Joe's fight. Don't talk about the last fight.
Sorry.
No. Talk about it. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm so great. I'm so happy that UFC Fight Pass is giving Muay Thai and Lion Fight this exposure and this platform, and I'm really excited to be a part of it as well on April 9th. It's a big show too, so I'm seeing some of the names on it. Reading some of the names on it was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
definitely. For that card coming up that you're on, who are you really excited to see?
Well, there's a Scottish kid from Nico Carrillo, I think his name is. I think I'm pronouncing it right. I hope. I'm really excited for that main event. I've followed him a little bit on Instagram and stuff like that, and seen some of his clips of his pad work and stuff like that, and some of his fights and stuff. And I know he's going to bring a big draw to the card. Jake Peacock's another one that was supposed to fight back in March, unfortunately, or back in February, excuse me, and was unable to due to injury. So I'm excited. I know this card's got a lot of big names on it. It's going to have a big draw, and I'm excited to be part of it, and hopefully can help be part of that big show and, have a big finish or a big fight. So
I'm sure you will, man. You're a very impressive fighter, and I don't doubt you're going to perform.
Thank you so much.
For sure. Ian, we're not done with you yet, but we're going to jump over to Keenan. Keenan, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into mixed martial arts?
I got into mixed martial arts probably right after, I want to say, high school, about to go into college. I was a wrestler. I did judo for a long time. I actually traveled the world because of judo. I was on the national team. Got a little injured. I had a slight leg injury. It slowed me down from judo a little bit, competing on a big level. So I switched down. I took some time off and I went straight into wrestling in college. But then one of my close friends, who also happened to be the coach at Johnson Wales, asked me, did I want to make some money in 15 minutes? I was a struggling college student, and I said, sure.
For sure, that's awesome.
The sport, though, when I was little, my dad used to ask me what I wanted to be, and I told him Bruce Lee, and obviously that probably didn't go over very well every time I said that, but here we are today.
Matt, what you got for Keenan?
Yeah, it's funny. I'll tell you, Keenan, my dad was a hockey player, and he used to fight in hockey all the time. And my mom wouldn't let us play hockey. And she goes, no, you're not playing hockey because you're going to fight. And I won't have you fighting. And here we go. Yeah, right. Isn't it funny the way things work out? Now, you had a Bellator fight. I'm a fan of Scott Croker and what he does. I mean, I've never fought for him, but I've liked everything he's ever done. What was it like fighting on Bellator? And was it the one fighter you signed? What's happening with your career in Bellator?
So I went on to Bellator. You'll notice that a lot of the things I sign up for are usually like last minute or something like that, just because I have the fighter spirit, I guess is what they call. I usually don't turn down a fight. So if somebody asks me to fight, I usually say yeah. It was out of my weight class. It was against Damian Trites. He was 185. I was a 145er was my last fight, and I moved up.
Huge jump. That's a huge jump.
Yeah, I had a problem with doing that a lot throughout my career, which I'll get into. The beginning of my career was very sporadic. I had no manager. It was just me trying to fight anywhere I could. I was in love with fighting. I was seriously injured for a long time. I'm actually healthy now, thanks to Corona. Made me take time off. So I'm fully healed. I haven't been able to fight. So I do have an upcoming fight, but it's boxing because I need to give my leg a little bit more time to heal. That's in May 22nd in New Hampshire. But back to what you're saying, being on Bellator was excellent. Everybody was great. The athletes, they were incredible. They act like normal people. They treat you like normal people. The care there, they took great care of you. The medical staff was up to par to make sure you got in and out quick. Hotel reservations, everything, food, all taken care of, accommodated for. Waynes were awesome. Got to be on TV, so it was a little exciting. But other than that, the experience was overall great. I went to the fight. obviously undersized, but I was winning. And he choked me from the bottom with, oh no, actually he armbarred me, Kimura me from the bottom.
Cool. Well, that's it. I mean, it happens to all of us. Like no fighter gets through their amateur or pro career without a couple of losses. I mean, that's how everybody learns. You go back, you think about what you did, you regroup with your camp, and you go from there for sure. With your upcoming boxing fight, what promotion are you going to be fighting under, and how can people catch that fight?
I believe it's a local promotion out of New Hampshire. I know a lot of shows are doing local right now.
Yeah.
I know Boston promotion is also Boston Boxing Promotion is another one that reached out to me maybe later in the year. But I'm not 100% sure which promotion. I'm actually going through my affiliate gyms, private Jewel Fitness out in Fall River. They actually had a lot of guys fight on this promotion, I guess, and another one in South Carolina, which maybe I'll get accustomed to that one too. But they actually reached out to me and asked me after they saw a couple of my fights that I had with some of the guys that their guys went against and had matches against. And they asked if I'd like to come out and spar. Came and sparred a little bit. They liked me, said that they would help me because I don't really have a manager right now to find fights or anything like that. I'm really just a working man that tries to pay his bills and happens to love MMA and fighting. So like I said, right now I'm just trying to take the right steps and really put my career on the forefront. Take a little bit more time off from kicking, so that's why I'm doing the boxing, because I broke my ankle and my leg multiple times because I fought without taking serious breaks. But
You know all about that. You're dealing with a little injury yourself, aren't you?
I've had a broken foot for about 2 years after I was fighting in when Team Canada went to China, and I was walking on the Great Wall of China. I was like, my foot really hurts. And I didn't know. And I went and I fought in China, and I had lost that fight, and I couldn't really step on my foot. And man, I thought it was high arches, and I've had a broken foot for about 2 years. So thanks to coronavirus, my doctor's like, listen, you've been walking on it, just get a boot on. And he goes, it's always going to be messed up, but try to heal it the best you can,
And I absolutely feel that because that was pretty much the last 2 years of my career. My career was starting very high, at a high point, won 4 or 5 fights in a row. Then I got injured in my last fight, which was about 3 years, I think, was the fight I got injured ago, 3 years, 2 years ago. Broke my foot and just never took the time out to heal. Always took a fight a month, 2 months after, because I always just said, oh, just a bump, Went to the doctor. MMA doctor is a little bit different from a regular doctor. So, you get through the guidelines, but for the most part, I got cleared and I got to fight every time. So I just took what I could.
Ian, have you had any serious injuries? I mean, man, MMA and Muay Thai, as they're martial arts, there's 2 different beasts.
Yes.
I actually started, my goal was like, I want to be an ultimate fighter. I walked into the gym, I saw the Muay Thai guys, and I was like, this is it. It's
right.
I can describe it as a beautiful pain. It's or a beautiful violence. It's just so it's so attractively deadly. It's so many great things. Ian, have you had any serious injuries or something that you've had to come back through?
Yeah, I've had quite a tough last few years actually. Prior to COVID, I'd say about 5 or 6 years ago, I was fighting a local show in town here in Minnesota, and I got clipped by a hook. It was towards the end of the first round. I got caught with a punch, and I collapsed on my knee, kind of collapsed in funny, and I ended up having ACL, MCL, and PCL and meniscus reconstructive surgery. So I was out for about 18 months, and my comeback fight was 18 months prior to almost that date. And then I was winning that fight, ended up winning by knockout, fortunately, but I kicked my opponent's elbow in the fight and ended up having what they call a Liz Franck injury and fractured some bones on the top of my foot. So that put me out for another 3-4 months, something like that. Yeah, it took me out for a while. Here. I was in a boot and using a scooter, pedaling around my job and stuff. So that was nuts. And then in 2018, once my foot healed up that same year, I ended up, and to this day, my trainer and I, or my coach and I, don't even really know what happened. I fractured my pelvic bone in 2 places and actually had 2 fights with a fractured pelvic bone. Yeah, a grade 4 and a grade 2. I think I might have been doing my core work, maybe when I was doing some core strengthening stuff, I might have injured it. But when I would run and jump and do a lot of things you have to do in training in Muay Thai, my low back, I'd wake up in the morning, could barely walk, could barely get out of bed, could barely move the whole day. So I've had like some 3 or 4 injuries. And then just before, I went out to just after I went out to Thailand, started kind of getting some momentum. I'm injury free. The pandemic happened. So I've had a crazy few years here. So I'm excited to be healthy now and be back, and excited, looking forward to this next fight, being healthy. So it's been a crazy last 4 or 5 years.
I feel it 100%.
You guys are all twinning with the ankle injuries.
Yeah.
Left leg?
My right knee, my left foot.
I was on left foot.
Yeah. So kind of alternating sides a bit.
Yeah, you're on both sides. That's a little hard, Ian. Jesus.
Yeah, right.
So guys, I got to take over for a little bit because I always like to give a shout out to women's mixed martial arts, boxing, kickboxing. I like shining a bit of spotlight on women too. So the card that Ian is on, there's a women as a co-main event, and it's a title fight, and that's between Angela Whitley and Taylor McClatchy. I think that's how I say her last name. Do you know, Ian?
Right.
Seems right. Do you know either of these female fighters?
I don't know much about Taylor McClatchy. Angela Whitley, though, I know is on the USA team. She's fought online fight a few times, so I have seen her a handful of fights and stuff. So I'm very excited to watch the women. The women fight last night was pretty good, and
Angie Nugent and Crystal Van Sant. We had Angie on the show one time. She's amazing. Andy, I mean to say.
Yeah.
Deadly, like, yo.
Did you see her front kick? And she knocked Crystal like way back out of the ring. I was like,
they were
whoa.
saying that there was some tension between them, that there was some bad blood.
Crystal was talking smack is what happened, I believe.
I didn't realize there was that tension in between them two. So when I was watching the line fight build up of some of the YouTube interviews that Nathan Corbett and some of those other guys were having, I kind of made it a little bit more intriguing to watch, knowing that there was a little bit of bad blood there.
Of course, that's exactly what promoters want.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Keenan, go ahead.
No, I say animosity sells, of course. All promoters love it.
Yes, of course. One thing I wanted to say about Whitley is, if you guys didn't know, or anyone out there who wants to look a little bit more into her only defeat came in her line fight debut against world welterweight champion Dorina Bars. So I think that's pretty cool. Like, she lost one time. She's super experienced. She's a really skilled fighter. So definitely check that fight out as well. Well, you're going to be jumping on to check out Ian's fight for sure. Anyway, Keenan, UFC is on tonight. I'm just wondering if there's any fights that you're really excited to watch tonight.
Yeah, like I said, obviously I'm really close to Boston, so there's a couple of opponents of some of the Boston Cartel, Rob Font and Calvin Qatar. So there's a Dan Ige fight I'm very interested to see. That's at 145. That's right around my weight, on my weight class. Sorry, and I'd like to see the Leon Edwards fight versus Muhammad. That's a little bit above my weight class, but I'm interested to see what Leon Davis can really do at this very moment. I am going to make a comment about the Amanda Nunes fight that just went by. She just solidified herself in the record books as the all-time knockout great in UFC history. So we're gonna give her, and whoever doesn't want to give her respect, I don't understand why. She has terrorized every scary figure in fighting and probably will continue to. And at this point, they might actually make her fight a boy, if you ask me. I'm not gonna
Not what you got next.
Not that that's going to make a difference, right?
Listen, like I said, it's all fair game. It's a fight. Go ahead. I think she has a fair chance. I don't think she is outclassed. She's a very skilled at what she does, and she has a lot of weapons and tools. So similar weight class, even fight, let it go.
Definitely. I agree. Matt, what's up? Shoot your next question. I know you got it.
Okay. I was actually going to ask Keenan. I'm very kickboxing and Muay Thai. I do watch the MMA. I like ONE FC. ONE FC because for me, I love seeing the Muay Thai in small gloves. I love seeing kickboxing because I fight them both, and I can't say some people are Muay Thai purists or MMA purists. I like kickboxing and I like Muay Thai. I like to separate them and I like to fight them both. What do you think about ONE FC and what they're doing? I think they're a powerhouse, but
I love ONE FC. They actually just took a very simple combat idea and just put it to fruition. Small gloves with kickboxing, all stand up. That means all action. People love it. Great. I mean, I'm a grappler, so I give respect to the grappling aspect of MMA. Don't get me wrong. I understand it. I can watch it, and I can be entertained by it. Not the normal person really can, unless you're slamming somebody in the neck or doing, the back break or the F5 to somebody. They're really not that interested in the wrestling aspect. But striking, anybody is attracted to striking. Anybody can like to see a knockout. Anybody likes to see high intensity combinations. The beauty of it is, like you said, it's beautiful destruction. So I believe ONE FC is going to be here for a while. They're doing excellent, and I think a lot of people are going to start going towards that way. A lot of people who maybe are in MMA right now and don't see the benefit of the grappling aspect are going to start going to ONE FC. They pay well, and they have a very wide, deep pool full of talent that either unknown or only known to fight fans, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Ian, what do you think about ONE FC and what they're doing? Is it, myself, I'd love to dream land a fight there, kickboxing or Muay Thai. Is it something that, is on your hit list, something you'd like to do?
Oh yeah, I mean, if I could make it to ONE FC, that would be awesome. Yeah, I like what they're doing. If I could travel the world and go to the different venues and different places they've gone to and had fights, and I mean that would be just a buzz. My friend Janet Todd's actually fighting very soon here. I think next week against Alma Uniku, so that'll be a good one. And her teammate Jackie Bunton just looked phenomenal in her last fight against Wonder Girl. So
I've seen Wonder Girl Fairfax, right? Yeah.
Yo, that was an amazing.
He killed that fight.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian Popejoy at Boxing Works is doing something really good with those fighters. So I'm excited to see Janet Todd next Friday, I believe. So but what they're doing with ONE FC, I think being that's kind of more of like an Asian based where it's based Asian based martial arts area. There's gonna be a lot of striking, but I'm a fan of MMA too. I watch MMA. I'm combat sports in general really is kind of fun to watch. Just like that one-on-one chess match, and whether or not it's any kind of discipline. Muay Thai just appealed to me early on, but I love watching. I'll probably catch what I can of the UFC fights tonight, and but was actually watching a couple of friends that are on Triumphant, the other promotion that was on this week. So,
Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico. Yep. I just had one of my friends just won the title, Zach Bonnell. So congratulations to Zach. And another guy I know from the Midwest, Richard Abraham's fighting Eddie Abasolo in the main event. So I'm just trying to catch it. It's been kind of a crazy weekend of combat sports, and look forward to the other weekends ahead of combat sports. So
have you guys all noticed that with the pandemic and COVID that like everything else got shut down, but fighting is happening, and
I love it.
It's refreshing, right?
Yeah.
It's because Dana White set the precedent, though. Like, let's be real. Like, with him having those big cards, everything else followed pursuit. Sorry, Keenan, go ahead.
I said Fight Island. Like, he put some standards up for you.
And I mean, I think everyone at home was grateful. I know I was. Like, I think I would have been even crazier not being able to train. And, well, I still train, but not with my training partners, which makes it completely different. We all use that as an outlet. So when you can't train the way you're used to training, like, at least you get to watch fights.
Right.
Yeah, pumping out those cards every weekend like Dana White did, and then securing the Fight Island thing was awesome, and then kind of everything else kind of was quieted down. So it was the right time, and that's why I'm excited for all the combat sports events and all the streaming and all the apps they're doing now. I think things are going to pick up and eyes are going to kind of turn onto the combat sports, and it's gonna catch fire. I truly believe.
Absolutely. 100%.
Definitely. Matt, did you want to ask the next question?
Yeah, so that's where I was kind of getting with COVID and them actually pumping out these fights here in Canada and Ontario. We've been shut down completely. We can't do pad work, we can't spar, and if we are, it's underground type stuff, And, it's been really hard on our fighters and our mental health, and myself included. I was signed to a promotion, and now I'm almost going on a year and a half without a fight, and the travel aspect, the training aspect, having coaches, and it's been very hard. Have you guys? I'm going to start with Ian first. Have you found that COVID has hindered your training, and is it open up by you or?
Yeah, so originally I came back around this time last year. I'm coming up on a year last year, coming back from Thailand, and yeah, everything was kind of a ghost town and stuff. Fortunately, my brother Alan helped me hold pads in our basement and stuff. I secured some pads from my coach, and we kind of started our own little training center downstairs. We called it the quarantine training center area. He kind of helped keep me in shape and stuff, and just kind of did some repetition stuff just to stay busy until the gyms opened up. But everything kind of locking down, and I know like in Canada's situation too and stuff, it's really unfortunate to see people. I truly believe that for a lot of us athletes in combat sports that, this is our outlet, this is our meditation, this is our therapy. So without it, it's really kind of heartbreaking that a lot of us don't have a lot of the outlets and the things to do that they want to do that keep them kind of their peace at mind and stuff. So.
Definitely.
What about you, Keenan? Have you found that COVID has hindered your training and your day-to-day?
We'll say, of course, things are way different now. Even when it first happened, we were shut down probably quicker than anybody else, only because we're real close to New York and Massachusetts. So right when that happened, we became the third. But like Ian just suggested to, I have my brother, Everett. We have a gym in his basement. We got a wrestling mat. We got pads and everything because we both coach youth wrestling and MMA programs. So probably that might have been the hardest part of it, with me having to tell the kids that we wouldn't be able to participate and they weren't going to have their wrestling season this year.
Yeah.
So that definitely stifled a lot of them. Didn't really want to make them work out, like, obviously run and all the stuff that they would have been doing if they knew they were training for a tournament. I am happy that tournaments are back now, so that's a little thing to get them going, but everybody's a little bit behind the ball. I'm just happy that I stayed fit. I had somewhere where I could do it, and it helped me be ready for my fight coming up now. Obviously, in this time of age, you don't know when you're gonna get called or when it's gonna happen, but you just always want to stay ready.
So obviously now with the pandemic, some venues are not allowing fans to come in, and some are having fans come in at a limited capacity. Do you guys think that that's going to affect either one of your fights? And we'll start with Ian first.
That's a good question. I guess I don't really know yet. I haven't had to fight without fans. It's usually most of the fights I had, like especially in Thailand and stuff, but the fans were roaring and so I guess it'll be interesting to kind of figure out, but either way, I still plan on going there and doing my job and, being focused and training. And, my gym as it is here is really small. So I'm kind of used to the quiet, and I'm kind of used to kind of focusing and hearing. I think being able to hear the corners' voices and stuff too, a lot more now.
Huge advantage.
Huge, sometimes the crowd can kind of get in the way of those things. So it'll be interesting. It'll be a new experience for me, but I'm looking forward and kind of ready to face the adversity.
Awesome. And you, Keenan?
Sorry, hold on. Work just takes me. Yeah, wait, what, sorry, what was the question again? I'm sorry, work just
That's
texted me.
okay. Do you think now in MMA, obviously for UFC, there's no fans allowed in, and most promotions are limiting the amount of people that are allowed to go into a venue. Do you think having a limited crowd and, less cheering, less noise is going to affect your fight at all?
Um, I think crowds affect fights 100%. I mean, a lot of people, maybe it affects them more than it affects others. Some people obviously thrive off of crowds. They get their second wins, they get their second heart, whatever you want to call it, off of a crowd's cheer. And some people are indifferent. It doesn't really bother them. For my fight personally, uh, I feel like the crowd will have an effect, but not a negative one. So whether they're there or not, I don't feel like it will be a negative effect. I feel like I'm going to perform well, regardless. But if they are there, it will be an added benefit because obviously everybody likes seeing their mom, their dad, their friends, their fans, watching them do what they love to do and doing it well. So everybody wants to knock out somebody in front of their fans. So, like there's it's like a 50-50 question. It's like a double-edged sword because some people
Yes.
get too nervous when there's a crowd and they
Mhm.
perform better than nobody. So, in that aspect, I understand that, but I've been performing in front of people for a long time. So, for me, it's just an added bonus. If not, then I guess you'll watch from TV. Either way.
Well, I mean, all four of us keep doing it, so we mustn't hate the crazy amount of attention and crazy nerves too much.
Right. Let's say right. Absolutely. We perform every time we come out, and that's it. When the lights are the brightest, we show out. So.
Definitely, for sure. Matt, you shoot off the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Ian, it's like I was saying before, I'm excited for your career on Lion Fight.
Thank you.
Hopefully I'll be right alongside you there shortly. But
For sure.
what what is your are you signed? Are you on a contract? And what is your goals? What are you're going for the title or you're just going from fight to fight right now?
I mean, yeah, the title would be nice. I think it's a little too early to kind of call that shot. But yeah, I'm signed to a multi-fight contract right now with them, and just kind of see how it goes and kind of take it fight by fight. I've got this first fight. Obviously, I got to kind of figure this out, and then the second fight, third fight, and if everything goes well, then maybe they'll re-sign me, or if not, I have plans to go back to Thailand down the road, hopefully. So I mean, we'll just kind of see how this goes. But, I'm excited for whatever. I'm excited for the whole experience altogether. So yeah, I actually fought Lion Fight like 5 or 6 years ago on the amateur card. Took the fight on real short notice. So I didn't really get to have a lot of time to prepare, and I hadn't really trained for the fight. I kind of just took it out of spite, out of like spontaneous action and stuff. And I truly believe like this is going to be actually like my Lion Fight debut. This is going to be my coming out party. So
Yeah, for sure. Right. If the amateurs, you know what? I tell my fighters the first 5 fights don't even matter anyways.
yeah.
Kind of shake off the goblet.
Make the mistake.
Keenan, about you, you're taking this boxing one to heal your, you're saying because of injury. Is boxing something that you intend on staying in, or do you want to be dipping your feet back into the MMA pool?
Boxing, I definitely would like to go farther in. I respect boxing. I like the science of it. I appreciate it. I also wanted to do other things like Muay Thai and kickboxing. I believe that MMA basically is all them mixed up. So I don't think that I should just dedicate myself to doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I feel like I'm the type of person that if I'm gonna learn something, I'm gonna learn it fully. So I do think that I'm gonna stick with boxing for a little bit, but I also think that I might take some kickboxing matches once my leg is healed and some Muay Thai matches once my leg is healed and other things like that because I've done smokers for them before I did MMA and that's how I learned how to do striking from grappling. So I still compete in grappling tournaments, so I don't understand why I shouldn't do those type of things to
Very good mindset.
I have a question for all three of you guys. Matt, you answer first. So I was in a chat group talking about UFC, fighting, martial arts, all that kind of thing. I was in there for, I think, like 10 hours because talking about fighting is super fun, as you guys know. So we had a conversation about what makes like the best mixed martial artist. And there was two very split groups. One group thought that doing a little bit of each martial art was the best thing to do. And one group thought that you should excel at just one art form first and then do the basics in the other art forms. But to be like world level in just one martial art was the way to go. Matt, what's your opinion on that? What side do you lie on?
One of my really close friends is the godfather of MMA here in Ontario, Justin Bruckman. He fought George St. Pierre, and he after he was done fighting, and he has his own gym, and he's like, "Yo, I wanna do kickboxing. I want to do a Muay Thai fight. I'm gonna come down and train with you." And he started training with me, and he got really good. And he you know, this was after his MMA career. He never done kickboxing. And then he said to me, he's like, do you want to, I've done an MMA fight, and I've only done like about a couple of hours of ground. I think I learned shrimp out and stand up. That's it. Right? Stand up. I was lucky enough that I knocked my guy out in the second round after getting taken down a million times in the first round. But, you know, at that point I was like, I'm going to stick with what I'm really good at. And I told Bruckman, I go, when I'm done kickboxing and Muay Thai, and like I'm hang the gloves up, I'm gonna start jiu-jitsu, and I'm gonna start my new path in my new martial arts. I'm gonna be a martial artist for life. Right. I'm not gonna be a competitive Muay Thai fighter for the rest of my life. I'll always teach and train and pass on my knowledge. But I know when I hang up the gloves, I'm gonna pick up something else. You know. What about you, Ian?
Yeah, you know, I know like MMA is kind of the jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. Sometimes I've heard that expression. You hear a lot though in MMA, like guys who've had like a extensive wrestling background or extensive background. I think it's good to have that big solid background in something, because not only do you have a good base to build off of, but that discipline has been instilled in you. So you're going to kind of know how to kind of go to those next disciplines and kind of learn those and stuff. And I know a couple of guys who from this area have kind of dipped their foot in either kind of sport here and there, but have never really came from a solid background. And they seem to have a tough time breaking into MMA. So I know like having like a wrestling background or having some kind of background in a combat sport previously, I think kind of sets the tone to help you kind of excel at MMA better down the road.
And how about you, Keenan?
So I'm just gonna put a good example. All the champs right now in the UFC, they all have a certain discipline that they were great at. They all can do everything, but we'll take Kamaru Usman. Okay, I'll say that he's a very well put together MMA fighter. He strikes, he takes down, he does it all very well. Him himself said, I am not the best MMA fighter, but I took the tools of making sure that I understood the basics of wrestling to become a successful wrestler and put it towards striking and put it towards jiu-jitsu. And I gave that same drive and determination that I took years of my life and put into wrestling and put it into these forms. And now he's champ. I'm a strong believer in it. Ronda Rousey, same. Okay, me and her from the same background. We used to work out together all the time. You know, the world team trains right in Boston for judo right now. So we're very good with Jimmy Pedro's club. We're very close with them. We're actually gonna go train with them next week. But Rhonda, she was another one. Very dedicated to her art. Stuck to judo for a long time. She learned a little bit of striking, and it got her far, real far. Now, should she have dedicated more of her time into the striking? Maybe, but that's for her. You know, that's she's gonna pick her own path. But I respect her because she took what everybody knew as judo. Yeah, judo, you know, it's cool. Carl Parisian did it. There's a few of them that you'll think of and say, oh yeah, judo's there. But now when you say it's like Ronda Rousey, because she really took it and just forced it onto you. Even if you were punching at her, she threw you. Even if you were grappling her, she armbarred you. So in MMA, basically it tells the story for itself, I guess I should say. That yeah, we should stick your guns to one thing and make sure you understand something fully so that when all goes bad, you can rely on something. You can fall back to something instead of falling back to 6 different things that you're not really sure about.
Yep, and you fall back to that, and that's just the discipline that was instilled in you at an early on age and stuff, and just being able to kind of bring that into those other arts and stuff. 100%.
You can envision, you can have it towards the disciplines that you're going to apply yourself to.
Yep.
I have another question for all three of you guys, and I'm going to put all the pressure on going first on my co-host here, Matt the Milkman Kendall. So I want each of you guys to tell me something that makes you stand out from your opponents. What do you think you have, either like skill-wise or work ethic-wise, that opponents of yours in the past haven't had or won't have? And Matt, you're up first. Go, Matt.
You know what? The feed was very, very choppy there. I don't know if it was on my end or what.
I said,
could you please repeat?
I said, tell me what makes you stand out from your opponents.
You know what? What makes me stand out is I am a gym guy. I never stop. When I have a fight, I'm in the gym consistently. Right now is the longest time I've ever really taken off and enjoyed life because I've had lots and lots of fights. So, but what makes me stand out is, man, I'm blue collar work ethic. I'm a grinder. There's nothing special about me. I'm not this knockout artist, but what I do is I play with my food, and I like to play with my food, and it's I grind you out. I've from the beginning of my career, I was brought on shows to lose, and I was always brought on to be the underdog, and it was their biggest downfall because I never stopped, and that's how my career got started. They were like, I wasn't spectacular, but I was a meat and potatoes, blue collar worker. You know. What about you, Keenan? What makes you special? Separates you from your opponents?
What I'm gonna say is everybody wants to win. I understand that everybody envisions themselves winning. I think for me it is like you said, I don't see myself better than the next person, no matter what my success is. I'm always willing to learn. I'm always going to act like I'm the student, even if it is something that I've already learned or saw before. If somebody different can show me it and I can learn something different from it, I'll always take it. And I've been that way even through my success in wrestling and judo. I always was the one to ask questions. I always stayed late. I always made sure to do extra repetitions. I was actually out of shape when I was younger, so maybe that helping, that mental discipline for me to make sure that I got myself in shape so I could actually do sports might have helped. But I think it's me just normalizing myself, me actually seeing myself as a regular person who needs to learn and is still learning every day and is willing to learn and is trying to apply everything he learns into something that he loves.
Sure, for sure. Ian, you're up. Tell us what makes you stand out from your opponents.
I don't know if there's a specific single thing. I think it's just an accumulation of a lot of things. I think, my work ethic, my ability to go into the gym and just, always be training, whether or not there's a fight coming up or not. I'm a student of the game. I like to think, I watch fights every night, every morning, every day, at break at work. I'm always watching my, fights on my phone and stuff and studying. So I think there's the ability of like my work ethic and my ability to learn. Another big thing was like, going to Thailand and traveling to Cambodia with the Thai team and fighting there is my ability to go out of my comfort zone. I took a sponsorship with the gym out in Thailand and stuff. And, I lived in I don't want to say the slums, but I lived, on the ground. I slept on the ground. I kind of was able to go out of my comfort zone. I think a lot of people feel like their comfort, to stay like, in their home and not, kind of venture out there and stuff. So I think that helps too. And I always kind of tell my coach this too. I feel like I have a mind for this. I think about stuff at night. I see sequences in my head, exchanges happening. I see things. I study things, and just kind of I put it all together somehow when I fight. So I think a lot of it is just the accumulation of everything I put together, and that just kind of makes me the fighter I am. And it makes me a cerebral fighter, hardworking fighter. So I truly believe that when I fight, there's really no area you can really beat me at because I'm pretty strong-minded in every area.
Well said, Ian. Matt's also been to Thailand, so he knows all about Thailand. Matt, you want to share a couple stories?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there long. I was getting ready for a WBC Muay Thai title fight here in Canada.
Who did you fight for that?
Pardon me?
Who was your opponent for that fight?
I was Scott McKenzie.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, from
I was supposed to fight Scott McKenzie there, and I was in Thailand this time last year in March, and I was training. I was there for about a month, and man, best camp I've ever had. I was at Phuket Top Team. I went to a couple of other gyms, so I was there. I got 3 kids, so I can't be that backpacking. And I mean, if I was younger and I didn't have kids, I'd probably be in Thailand or Cambodia right now. But I've been blessed with 3 beautiful children and a lovely wife. So I make my career happen where it is. I love Thailand. I love the culture. I love the food. I love the clothes, everything. Thailand is just, it's like my spirit animal, you know?
Yeah, it's
a lovely place.
Out there too. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm
While you were there, I mean, I have trouble here. I have kids and stuff. I get my training in my twice a day. I get it in, but when I was in Thailand, it was different. Twice a day, the meals, I wasn't even eating that much. It was like only 2 meals because it's so hot. Like you got to drink water and just eat your 2 meals a day.
Yeah.
How did you find it?
Yeah, so I got a sponsorship. A buddy of mine, Lewis Green from the UK, gave me hooked me up with a sponsorship deal at a Santai Muay Thai gym. So I, for about 3-4 months, I was a sponsored fighter out there until the pandemic kind of shut everything down. But yeah, it was 5 in the morning, 10K runs, come back, train for about 3 hours. Breakfast was at the gym. We usually have like sticky rice, spicy papaya salad, like all the good spice foods.
Yeah.
I would pretty much just sleep with the fan on. I lived in the back room with the Thais. I slept with all the Thais and all the fighters and stuff. So I lived at the camp. And after that, I would get up, go for another run, which was always tough. The evening run was really tough because, you know, your peak heat's around 3-4 o'clock in the evening in Thailand, and you're running out in, you know, pretty extreme temperatures and stuff, and then come back, train for another 3 hours with my trainer Sak Pensiam, and yeah, and then go and eat and kind of do it all over again 6 days a week. And then Saturday night after training was always nice to go to the market and kind of check out the delicious food and eat, you know, and the prices too. I mean, you can't eat, you know, and the food it's unbelievable. You can't, it's priceless experience, really is.
You know, on my last day, we went to Patong. I knew my fight was canceled, so we went to Patong, the beach, and we were walking the strip and obviously having drinks and walking around because my fight was canceled now. So I'm like, oh, I'm in Thailand. Why not enjoy? My wife, there's, you know how you see tourists all the time, and it's usually that big fat white guy wearing the elephant trunks and that white the big white like almost see-through shirt with a hood on it. I'm like, I want that, honey. I want that. Let's go get me that. So now I got like 10 pairs of elephant trunks that are like so thin that you can almost see through. And I got oh man, I wear them all the time. I miss it. I miss Thailand. It's
yeah.
Man, it's a really good thing you convinced her to marry you, because that is not a good look.
There's someone for everybody.
Right. Love is everything.
Have you traveled and had extensive stay for training anywhere?
Yeah, a bunch of places actually. I've been to Japan, to the Kodokan. We trained there for like a month.
That is definitely on my list.
Yeah, the Kodokan, that was excellent. It was cool to see where all my I guess my foundation started. I'm a judo player at heart, so it was cool to see that. Also been to England, Italy, Morocco. Was there in Morocco for like 3 months. We were in Italy for almost a year, training with the Italian national team. We went to China, and the cool thing is we got to have all these people come back to our dojo in America.
That is cool.
So yeah, we got a lot of ties everywhere. Like I got a lot of friends that don't speak that good of English, but we're friends. Actually, we got a lot of ties in Canada too. We have a tournament there, the AMCANs. We actually go to Quebec. There's a training camp there. We go there a lot. Yeah. So places, yeah, pretty much a lot of places actually. Thank God.
Actually, Steph and I,
Yeah.
we're teammates. We on Team Canada and Team Canada Kickboxing. We've been to Mexico. I know Steph has traveled to other places, but we both fought in Mexico twice, and it's amazing the relationships you build and the friendships you bond through punching people in the face.
For
It's so
life.
true.
For life. For life.
You don't even need to speak the language. You just need to speak this language, you know?
No, it's universal, definitely. Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Brings the world together.
Yeah.
100%. We can definitely all agree on that for sure. Matt, you should shoot us off. We got a few more minutes left for another couple of questions.
Keenan, and Ian here. I'm gonna say something that I'm really excited about right now for fights. I'm coming into the sport, and hey, tomorrow we're gonna be interviewing Ernesto Hughes.
Can't wait.
This is huge, right? Almost feel like, oh my God, I can't believe it. He really formulated my style with kickboxing.
I like kick, bro.
He's having a fight coming up soon. Who are you guys excited about seeing fight? What promotion you want to see? One fight I'm super excited to see is John Wayne Parr and Nikki Holskin on ONE FC in the Muay Thai gloves. Ian, shoot it at you first. What are you excited for?
Tomorrow it'll be tomorrow morning here in the US. Channel 7 in Thailand is Litwada versus Ferrari Fairtex. So I'm very excited for that one. That main event at Channel 7 Stadium. I remember when I was in Thailand, I always would go to Channel 7 Stadium and watch the fights every Sunday. It was a free admission. You just had to get there early because they pack you in there like sardines and stuff. But Litwada and Ferrari, I'm very excited for tomorrow main event at Channel 7 Stadium.
Amazing. Keenan, before you, Steph, what are you excited? Who are you excited to see? You're always at.
Well, I'm excited to see all you guys get back in the ring. That is for darn sure. Who am I really excited to see? I gotta go with my guy, Gavin Tucker. Gavin Tucker is from Newfoundland. He's a mixed martial artist. He's amazing. He's on a win streak. And coming from an island, I understand how difficult it is to make a career in this. Every single one of my fights, I've had to buy a plane ticket for, try to get sponsorship as a female amateur fighter, and as a fighter, period. I'm sure you guys understand that that's extremely difficult to do. So everywhere, anytime I wanted to fight, it was an effort to get the funds to go and do it. And once you've fought everyone in Canada, Matt, I know you've gone through your fair share of Canadians. You got to look outside the country, and that cost adds up, kind of thing. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to see Gavin fight. Woo!
Keenan, what about you? Who are you excited to see? What promotion or what big fight are you looking forward to?
Well, I did a little bit of work with this guy's sparring partner about a week ago. I'm gonna switch it over to boxing. I'm sorry, guys.
Go for it.
Hey, it's combat sports. It's combat sports.
Yeah.
Definitely cannot wait to see Errol Spence versus either Terrence Crawford, which is very likely, or Manny Pacquiao as his two mandatory opponents. But so far looking like Terrence Crawford, but you know how boxing is, they do weird stuff and flip shit around. But so far right now, that's the biggest one of the year that I'm excited for. Only because I worked out with Errol Spence's partner about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So have a little bit of connection with him. We were FaceTiming. He obviously can't come to all the training events because he has COVID restrictions. So he has to make sure he's not sick. But his partner got to come over here. He actually lives in Connecticut. So I feel good and that I'm probably going to meet him soon and maybe work out with him. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
And one more thing before I throw it back to Steph and we get a chance to thank our sponsors, and as I'm sure you guys have sponsors and people you'd like to thank and stuff. Me saying that we're interviewing Ernesto Hughes tomorrow. What question would you guys ask this legend? Ian, I'm going to start with you. What question would you ask Mr. Perfect and Ernesto Hughes?
I'd probably ask him what it was like fighting guys in different weight classes, because back in the
Gary Goodrich, or sorry,
I'm like writing down this question.
back in the K1 days, you know,
Ooh.
kind of took on all comers or whatever. It was crazy back then. So yeah, I'd probably ask him what it was like, you know, adjusting his game plans or adjusting how he would fight. You know, I know he's the big leg kicker and, you know, the occasional high kick and stuff like that. And the body shot, low kick, the signature
Body shot, low kick.
and stuff. So,
Yep, body shot, low kick, left foot, right kick.
yep. So yeah, I'd probably ask him what it was like, you know, because nowadays we have the weight classes and stuff. So I'd ask him what, you know, it must have been different back in the day, like anarchy of just having all these open weight class fights. So that'd be interesting to ask him that.
Good question.
Bob the Beast Sapp, yeah? That was
Right. That's what I was about to say. How did feel to make him cry?
deadly. That man, regardless his technique or not, he hits you once with
Man. He's
large-
a big man. He'll touch you one time when you're going down. For me, I would ask if he ever thought about fighting one of the Gracies. They seem to have avoided him like the plague.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
I like it.
Like the plague.
Matt, also, like, you're such a genius to ask that.
Right?
That was good. That was
Guys,
good.
Pick the brain.
I'm a little fanboy over here. I mean, for me, you know, I've been K1 Max is what
Right.
started for me, right? Ernesto Hus, John Wayne Parr, Bacau, like, man, that I feel like that was an era of kickboxing that is only now getting its recognition. You know, it's crazy, right?
Absolutely. Hall of Fame times now, though. They're all Hall of Fame times now.
They are, yes, you're right. But Ernesto Hus is fighting again.
Yes, he
I-
is
I-
fighting.
Yeah.
I know. Yep. Roy Jones
You
too.
know
Mike
what?
Tyson too.
Yeah, Mike Tyson too. That's a good point. I mean, these guys are so skilled too. They're
Right.
they know what they're doing, you know, and they know the risk,
They know the risk
that they're
of the war.
taking.
Absolutely, and they're willing to take it. That's the other thing. Like it's hard
Exactly.
to stop.
I mean, who is anyone really to say that you have to stop fighting? I know, like, it's always big on the MMA scene to drag fighters who are like 40 plus through the mud.
Mhm.
Like, oh, is he gonna think about retiring soon? He's took one knuckle sandwich too many, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, if
It's
this
up
is
to
what
them.
people love to do, let them do it. Support them.
I'm a firm believer. I didn't start, I didn't even walk into a gym until I was 25. I played no sports. All I did was street fight. And it's that cliche, oh, I'm a street fighter. I played no sports, man. I was just a bad kid. And I turned into an adult and I was getting into a lot of trouble. And I probably would have been into some serious stuff if I didn't walk into the Muay Thai gym. And at 25, and within 8 months, I was fighting for a prestigious Canadian title. What age do we have enough time for questions here?
I think we're good. I mean, they didn't give us the warning.
What age? I'm going to start with Keenan first, and then we'll slide it right back over to Ian. What age did you start? And the reason why I'm asking is I believe there's it's not about what age you start. There's a certain amount of time you can be within this sport. Man, I started at 25. I'm 37 now. I still feel like I got at least six more years. I don't even want to put that number on. Keenan, what age did you start, and how long do you see yourself in the sport?
I started doing judo when I was about 7 years old. Again, it was just basically I was just getting in trouble a lot at school. My dad, he was actually thinking about sending me away to either go live with my grandparents or to a boarding school for children. But my coach actually happened to be coaching one of the Hope High School students that lived up the street from me, and I was friends with his little brother. And he brought us there one day, and we got kicked out the first day.
So 7 years old. We are at our 2-minute warning. Ian, what about you? When did you start? How old were you?
I was 18. Hadn't done anything previous to that. Started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at 18 and just switched over to Muay Thai when I was 20.
Amazing.
Quick 30-second plug for each of you guys. If you had any sponsors or anything that you want to plug, each of you guys got 30 seconds. Go, Ian, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I just want to shout out Nick and Ood, the gym owners at Santai Muay Thai, for giving me the kind of helping me get the platform to fight online, giving me the opportunity back in Thailand. I've been going down and training at another gym in San Antonio called Kingdom Martial Arts with TJ Johnson and his wife Daisy. They've been a huge help with me getting ready for this fight. He was a big influence for me when I was watching him on Max. And then, of course, my home gym and my coach here, Rick Klein, and Free Spirit Muay Thai. All the guys at Free Spirit Muay Thai.
Awesome. Keenan, you? Keenan, you got anyone to plug? Okay, it was awesome. Oh, sorry, we got you back. Hey, did you have someone you wanted to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, I would like to give a shout out to Mayo Judo Club in Rhode Island. I'd also like to give a shout out to Private Jewel Boxing Club in Fall River, Big Six Boxing Academy in Providence, and my sponsor Billy Powder's Moving Services. You need a move in or out of state, contact us.
Amazing. Thanks so much for being on, guys. We really appreciate it. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish Radio Network. The H.E.R Network is part of the Spanglish World Media Network. Please check us out at spanglishworld.ca for all your news and programming. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. Thanks again, guys. We really appreciate your time.
Stephanie, Matt, thank you so much for having me on. It was this was awesome. This was kind of a big deal for me. So thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure. And here's the great success out of the two of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.